Some years ago, before the pandemic changed everything, about half a dozen various friends and family members of mine moved to Phoenix, but none of them lasted over a year in the desert. It fascinated me, particularly because I knew it was a booming city. But then I learned through them that it was an even bigger destination for Black folks attempting to get a hold of a semblance of the American dream. But the city, they told me, was actually really far from livable for them. So in 2022, I traveled to Phoenix to write a story about this Black migration. The story, which went somewhat viral online, prompted me to take a greater look at the current movement of Black folks nationwide, which is centered on the growth of Black Americans moving back to the South and to the Sun Belt. And what kept coming up in this reporting was both how unprepared people were for the climates of their new homes and how lonely they were in their new communities. So this story, like much of my work, springs from this well of despair. In Phoenix, extreme heat and loneliness are converging, leaving residents more lonely in the summertime than virtually anywhere else in the country, and Black residents dying by suicide twice the national average. And sometimes it is really hard to shake this when writing, talking, and thinking about climate change. But uniquely for me, this story is also one that does not exist without hope for the future. My sources spoke of community gardens and farms as lifelines, salvation itself sprouting from soil. They're helping cool some of the nation's hottest neighborhoods while offering Black residents a place to gather free from the grasp of oppression. But I craved more time to unpack a haunting paradox at the core of this story. What does it mean for Black folks when our redemption echoes the original wound of slavery? Another 3,500 words might barely scratch the surface of such complexity, but perhaps that's exactly the point. Some stories require us to sit with discomfort rather than these neat conclusions. And in this case, I wasn't hunting for quotes or angles. I was simply present, human first, journalist second, and it was a rare and precious gift.